Hello, everybody. Welcome back to We Own Wellness, the only podcast in the world where experts give you the tools to take control and own your wellness. As always, I'm your host, Nathan Ball with Southern Indian Health Council, and today's episode is centered around improving the mental health of our tribal veterans right here in California. I'm joined with a variety of experts in this field talking about mental health and veteran care. So we're going to before we go into introductions, I do need to emphasize that we have an event coming up. The Tribal Veterans Mental Health Summit is going to be on May 13th and 14th from 8 to 5 p.m. at Sycuan Casino. We're very excited about this event, and I have a group of people here that can really touch on the importance of this event and why you might want to make sure that you're there. So, Ray, we can go ahead and get started with you. What is your involvement with this event?
Hi, Ray McMurphy here. I'm the tribal health liaison for Indian health in our area, and I'm basically on the planning committee. We report to Ricky, who's in charge of all the stuff here from CalVet. That's what I'm doing with this event.
Thanks, Ray. And then Ricky. Ricky is a very important contributor to this event. Can you go ahead and let people know a little bit about how you're impacting the success of this event?
Sure. So my name is Ricky Powell. I am the Deputy Secretary of the Minority and Underrepresented Veterans Division here at the California Department of Veterans Affairs. I also am the tribal liaison for the whole department. And it's an honor to be here, to be on this podcast and promoting our Tribal Veterans Mental Health Summit. This is a great opportunity for partnerships and to really serve our tribal veterans. And currently, we have roughly about 18,000 tribal veterans in California, highest in all of the nations, and we have 109 federally recognized tribes. So it's just an honor and it's a great opportunity for us to work together to serve tribal veterans and their family members.
Thanks, Ricky.
Yeah.
Nicole, say what's up to everybody listening.
Hi, everybody listening. My name is Nicole Joels. I am responsible for the prevention program within the Social Services Department here at Southern Indian Health Council. And I've had the honor of being on the committee and helping bring the CalVet Native American Mental Health Summit to life.
Beautiful. Heather, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. My name is Heather. I'm the San Diego Women Veteran Program Manager here at the local VA. And we're going to be sharing some women's health services that we offer. And for the focus of this summit specifically, we'll be offering some of the services that we do specifically for our women veterans in the mental health region. And we'll have a breakout session for everybody on May 14th. Should I put the time? From 9 to 10:30.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
for everybody listening, just for your information, in case you're just doing audio and no video, we're all different parts of the state right now. So it's a remote podcast. So if everybody's mic sounds different, now you know why. Aaron, what's going on with you?
I would have worn a different shirt had I known. And also, Nicole's not even showing her video, so what the heck? I'm Aaron Laff. I'm with Sycuan Health Center. We're the primary partner for this event, and we're so incredibly honored and excited to host it, and just looking forward to the progress that's going to be made with this event and for years to come.
Thanks, Aaron. And Sonia, what is your involvement with this event?
Hi. So I work close. I'm a elder navigator here at Indian Health Council, and I work closely with our AVA group, our American Indian Veterans Association.
Beautiful. And last but not least, Cabrini, right? Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, you did. Hi,
Awesome.
everyone, virtually and everyone listening. My name is Sabrina Laredo. Hauka, that means hello. And Kumeyaay, I'm from the San Pasqual Band of Mission Indians, and I also work here at the Indian Health Council. I serve as a program coordinator for 2 grants here, and I will be leading a breakout room in question, persuade, and refer training, where I will be teaching you how to recognize the warning signs of suicide and how to refer someone in a crisis.
I love it. Okay, so let's just jump right into this event because clearly, with all of you guys here today, just in this podcast, it's taken a lot of people to make this event possible. There's a lot of moving parts because it is such an important event. So, again, for those who missed it at first, May 13th and 14th, 2026, Sycuan Casino, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. It is the Tribal Veterans Mental Health Summit. So I'm gonna throw this question out there. Anybody of you could probably answer it in your own way, but what is the mission, what is the core mission of this event? What is the main thing that you're trying to accomplish by putting all this together?
Yeah, hey Nathan. So I appreciate that question, and our main mission, it's a two-pronged mission here. One, our number one priority is to serve tribal veterans and their family members, and suicide prevention and working with tribal nations is a very sensitive topics we're working with. And the second prong is the partnerships and programs. And as you can see just in this podcast by itself, the number of support and how we're working together. And so that there's a long game to this is that we want to educate tribal members and their family members, their caregivers, their friends, and other service providers who attend this event that what kind of programs do exist right now to help with suicide prevention. So we are partnering up with the Department of Veterans Affairs, who will elaborate more on providing gun locks to all attendees. But the second prong I'm really very proud of is having the government to government relations, understanding that each tribes have their own nations, their own tribal councils, and and working together with humility and working together with understanding that that different tribes have different needs, having those listening sessions and working together and building partnerships not just through from the state but also with our federal partners, our county partners, our nonprofit organizations, our tribal nations, and the services the Indian Health Services have to provide. So those are the two main missions that we're trying to accomplish through this Tribal Mental Health Summit. And this is just not an event. The long game is that we want to continue this partnership. We want to continue this conversation, and we want to spread the word. And hopefully, we can lead the nation and inspire other states to do the same as what we're doing, this effort in serving tribal veterans.
Thanks, Ricky. So really the suicide prevention aspect of it and then the different tribal governments collaborating together to figure out what needs everybody has and then get those needs solved. There's like I keep saying, there's a lot going on with the event. What are some of the most exciting elements that are going to be included in this event? What are like everybody can pick one and we'll just bounce around. What are you most excited for?
I don't know. I think that's on Aaron. I think he has one of the more exciting ones. Come on, Aaron, talk about it.
Yeah, I can pick this one up. So something I've never seen done before at any conference or any summit is where you actually leave the hotel, the venue, and you go out and you smell the outside air and you take in some sun and you get to have an outside, portion of the conference. And I have the honor of partnering with an amazing program called Saddles and Service, who have an incredible website, saddlesandservice.org, that you can check out. They were coming out for a golf tournament at Sycuan, actually, and I made the connection through there. And I grew up around horses my whole life. And every day driving to work, I drive past this horse arena that Sycuan has right next to the casino grounds. And I always, in the back of my head, I'm like, we got to use that for something. It's sitting right there. It's a beautiful state-of-the-art horse arena, and I want to use it somehow. And so Saddles and Service is a veteran-owned organization. The founder is a Navy veteran, and they specifically work with veterans and heroes to do equine horsemanship, and they have a whole program designed around horses and being a cowboy, being a rancher, being somebody who's outside working with your hands, and it's a means of mental health support. So that started clicking in my mind that those two things relate, and so I toured one of the ranches that they have, and I brought up the idea, kind of a crazy idea. Hey, what if you brought horses to Sycuan at this horse arena? I bring the attendees to you. You bring the horses, and we have an outside workshop based around equine horsemanship and your program. You get to highlight your organization. So they were fully on board. Next step was just getting approval to use that, and a big thank you to the Sycuan Tribal Council for approving that and just getting the ball rolling on that. So now we have everything in place for day 2 of the event. You'll be able to, it's honestly like a 2-minute drive from the casino right to the horse arena. You have to drive past it every time you come to the casino. So it's right there, and it's going to be an incredibly unique workshop where live in person, there will be horses there that you could see, touch, feel, and learn about the program.
And the transportation is going to be provided by the casino. They're going to have a 40-passenger bus. You don't have to drive your cars out. You'll be able to go from there. So that's an amazing opportunity.
That's awesome. What else are we excited for?
Cabrini, I think what you're doing as far as the certification portion of it is interesting. I think that's one of the tools that's going to benefit all of our veterans. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm excited to teach it. I know I shared with you guys when we went and did our walkthrough of Sycuan earlier this week. I shared that my grandpa is a veteran. He was in the Army. He went to Vietnam at a very young age, and he came back different. He dealt with a lot of mental health issues his whole life, and even I saw him going through it as a young child, and so I didn't understand it then, but I do now. And my goal for this event is, and for the whole reason why I do what I do, is just to bring that mental health awareness and education to our vets in our community, and hopefully to give them the education and equip them with the knowledge to know how to better serve themselves, their family, and their own community when it comes to interacting with someone who's actively going through a mental health crisis, whether that's they're just having a bad day, they're feeling anxious, they're dealing with depression, PTSD, whatever it is. I just want to bring that knowledge to the community so that they're able to help save a life.
And what's the name of your program? What's the certification?
So it's QPR, and it stands for Question, Persuade, and Refer. And I'm going to be leading that breakout room on day 1, so May 13th. And I believe my breakout room time is around 1 p.m. So we're going to be in PIPO room 1, and it's a 90-minute training. And after the 90 minutes, you're going to receive a certification that's valid for 2 years. And it's called, after the training, you're going to be a QPR gatekeeper. That's what you're going to be certified in. And with that knowledge, you're going to be equipped and have the skills to be able to recognize the warning signs of suicide. We'll be covering 4 major signs that someone may experience while they're going through a mental health crisis, or they can be as obvious as directly stating their intent that they would like to harm themselves, all the way to as subtle as, I just want to go to sleep and I never want to wake up. So there's a lot of different ranges and signs when it comes to suicide. And the goal for QPR is just to get people equipped with the knowledge and how to recognize those signs and how to persuade them to keep staying alive.
Awesome. And I'm going to cut in a little bit here. Heather, can you talk to what your program is going to be doing?
Sure. Yeah, we are going to have a breakout session for our women veterans. One of our fabulous mental health providers, Vanessa Lazan, is going to be hosting a presentation. She hasn't shared their presentation with me yet, but it's going to probably include some of the more specific services that we offer here at our VA. We have a variety of mental health groups. A lot of them are virtual for our women veterans. And, we focus on what some of the most prevalent diagnoses that we have here for our veterans. And for women veterans specifically, anxiety, depression, and PTSD are the 3 highest diagnoses we see related to mental health. So we offer a lot of classes for that. And that includes the Native American veteran population as well. So we're just excited to share some of these resources that we have. Groups, we have support peer groups, we have walk-in support, we've got, one-to-one. So just kind of sharing all that information with our veterans, and a little bit extra of what we do too in women's health to help support them as their whole, not just mental health. So.
Now, is this event only for Native Americans, or can anybody show up to the event?
Anyone could show up to the event. So the venue does have a strict policy of 21 and over. But we, in our internal meetings, have come to realize that if you're not a veteran yourself, you may have a family member who is a veteran, and if you may have a coworker that's a veteran, you may have a classmate that's a veteran. We have service providers that serve veterans. So this is an opportunity for all of us to learn together, to grow together, to form that network of service providers, and for the veterans to actually learn more about the programs that are offered here in California for tribal veterans, but and in general veterans overall and their family members.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, the aspect of this event being specific, of course, to tribal veterans, why do you feel like the one size fits all veteran mental health models don't quite work for the Native communities? And what are you doing in this event to make it inclusive and effective for the Natives?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Nathan. And I'm going to start off by saying that CalVet overall is never going to become a subject matter expert when it comes to serving tribal veterans. And we really need our partnerships with our tribal leaders, our tribal nations, our tribal spiritual advisors to guide us and coach us. And it's very important because we have understood that the tribal members have the warrior spirit. And through this research and through the discovery, as we learn together, tribal veterans have, during Vietnam, at a time of draft, 90% of tribal members joined on the voluntary purposes. And we also understand the cultural aspect of keeping it grounded. And this is another avenue. We veterans overall, I say we, I'm a combat veteran. We experience military sexual trauma. We experience high rates of PTSD, physical disabilities, mental disabilities, substance abuse. There's, financial divorce rates are high. And now we take a deeper dive when it comes to tribal veterans, and we're looking at generational trauma. We're looking at, tribal members have a high rate of substance abuse overall, and the rural areas. And once we identify these challenges that tribal veterans face, is how do we make sure that we are trying to provide the proper services. And I'll give you an example. Right now, smudging is something that the VA is working on, a smudging policy. And so when we talk about or combat veterans, when they relive their moments as they're going through the therapy sessions, is having the spiritual aspect may assist. And I'm gonna hand it over to my team members to kind of elaborate on that partnership also.
Thank you. I see Nicole Jones just raised her digital emoji hand.
Yes, I just wanted to kind of piggyback off what not only Ricky, but I think Cabrini had mentioned. And so my team, we're not only, we're showing up in a simple way, but also in a meaningful way. We're while Cabrini's taking charge of the QPR and things like that, we're holding space and we're being present, not just as staff, but as relatives in the room, people you can look at and that you're not alone. I'm not a veteran myself, but I do come from a family of veterans, and I've seen both the strength and the weight that comes with service. And it may have already been mentioned, but Native American veterans experience some of the highest suicide rates among all veteran groups. And, that's not just about individual struggle either. I think also what Ricky mentioned, it's connected to historical trauma, to loss of culture, to isolation, and to, the unique challenges that come with serving and then returning home. So that's why gatherings like this matter. And they bring culture, they bring connection, they bring community back into the conversation. And sometimes that connection is exactly what prevention, what I do looks like. So I really encourage everybody to register and just to show up, because sometimes that's the hardest part of the battle, right, is just showing up. You may not know what this summit has to offer you, but again, I think just showing up and seeing what could be is part of that healing and part of what our Native veterans may need. So really look forward to seeing local veterans, Kumeyaay veterans, Luiseño veterans, urban veterans, just even their families, our women warriors, elders. Just strongly encourage everybody to come out and see that impact. I think you have to be there in the room to see it. You can easily speak on it, but again, to see it in person will be much different.
Yeah, just showing up is a big step. And I didn't touch on it earlier. If you want to register and RSVP for this event, there's less than 60 spots remaining at the time of this recording. So at the time you're hearing this, probably even less. So there's going to be a link in the description of this episode that'll take you to the registration site. And if you'd rather type something in your search bar manually, you can visit sihc.org/vets. So that's VETS, and it'll take you straight there. You just register. It's 100% free. And the spots are limited just because capacity, obviously there's some limitations there. So get in while you can. And I agree with Nicole. You might not know just based off of this recording, this episode, of exactly what is at the event for you, but I promise you there's something there for you. And before we wrap up the episode, are there any important details about this event that we haven't touched on that might encourage somebody to want to make that step, click the link, and sign up to show up to this event?
Yeah, I can elaborate on that. What makes this summit unique as compared to other summits, most conferences, summits, there's a lot of PowerPoint presentations, there's a lot of black and white, a lot of panel discussions, but this summit is very unique as far as action items. We're hosting 4 talking circles simultaneously for 90 minutes. And these talking circles are arranged from substance abuse recovery to women warrior-centric talking circles to combat talking circles. In addition to that, the vision of this summit was as a combat veteran, I can openly talk about this. We can, all of us can watch videos on war. We can read a book about war. We can talk to a veteran who's been to war. But until you've been to war, you don't know what war is. And I'll elaborate a little bit further on that. The explosions, feeling the explosions as they rattle through your feet, through your body. Right, the smell of the CLP of your M16, the heat waves of the explosions, and the intensity. And this is the vision that we had for this summit is that we don't want just PowerPoint slides and just conversations. Here's a picture of a horse. Here's the statistics of equine therapy if you take it. We wanted that firsthand experience of smelling the horse, touching the horse, actually going through the equine therapy, feeling the drums in your body. What we're hearing and what I'm understanding through these planning sessions is that the drums are the heartbeat of the tribal nations. And so when I compare this to war, right, the explosions, the feeling of it, right? So we want the healing portion. So the first day is talking circles and panel discussions, and we're bringing a lot of emotions and feelings up to surface through these conversations. But the second day is really focused on equine therapy. What does healing look like? What does it feel like? We have people coming in. There's a VA wellness app that is centric to tribal veterans. So giving those tools and resources, because we brought everything to surface the first day. Let's talk about, how do you heal from this? How do you recover? Network with everybody, build more systems in place, inspire the service organizations to host talking circles in the future. So this is an opportunity for us to grow together to serve tribal veterans and their family members.
I love it. Come and find out what healing feels like. That's a great quote that you just mentioned, Ricky. And as Nicole said, I encourage everybody to register and show up and just see what the days have in store for you. Again, if you want to register, you just go to sihc.org/vets, VETS. You click the link down in the description. You can also reach out to minority veterans at calvet.ca.gov. That email, you can get your questions answered, or you can call them at 916-651-3054. We could literally be here talking for probably another 2 hours about this event because everybody's so excited, but we're going to go ahead and leave it there. If you guys have questions, make sure you reach out to the CalVet and click that link, and we can't wait to see you guys at the event. Thank you all for tuning in, and remember that you have the power to own your wellness. Bye.